It's Sunday, August 29th, 2021, and here's the last balcony garden update for August 2021. Can you believe that the summer has just flown by this year? I can't. Well, let's take a look at what we got this week. So here we have this tomato plant. The leaves, lots of them are brown. Doesn't look so healthy, but it's got lots of tomatoes on it still. It's still done pretty good. Here's the orange tomato plant that was grown from seed. You can see it's got some tomatoes on it. This one had a very slow start this summer. Fed it banana water, some banana peels, and that seemed to give it nutrients to grow. And here we've still got some flowering this year. Over here. So this plant is nowhere near done for this summer, which is a good thing. Okay, so let's venture off to my sister's place and see what's happening over there this week. So here's a cherry tomato plant, and orange tomatoes on it. Some of the leaves are brown, they're dying, but the plant still has lots and lots of tomatoes on it. This cluster here, yeah. Well, that's kind of weird. Extreme heat this week, but it's still got lots of tomatoes. And the plant beside it is the same plant, yet this one generating lots of red tomatoes, which is kind of funny. Actually, these ones up here look orange. That's really bizarre. Over on the other side here, we seem to have the same story. A lot of the leaves are brown. Still got lots of tomatoes though. Can't even tell you how many have been picked this year. Lots. And the plant is still flowering. So it's still growing, but I wonder why that is. Have a look up here at the top. These things just keeps growing and growing up the side of the fence here. You can see that's the top of the fence. If I back up a little bit here, you can see how tall the plant actually is. Wow. And here's this hot pepper plant. It's growing some hot peppers on it. Still nothing ready to be picked this year, but it looks like one is starting to change color. It should be ready soon. Now these over here, those are the red pepper plants grown from seed. I think the only purpose they've served is providing leaves for bugs and animals and whatnot to eat, because looks like a lot of them have had a healthy meal on these. But if you look at this plant here, this one's actually budding now. Get the zoom in. You can see the buds on it. You might actually get some peppers out of this one. And it's starting to rain here now. So we'll have a quick look at this with the yellow flowers. I think it's cucumber, but not entirely sure. Here's the jalapeno pepper plant. I've picked so many jalapenos from this year. This has been one huge success, this plant. All the red ones have been picked off. There's some green ones that are still growing. This plant has been very impressive. Take a look here at the top of it. Let's see if I can zoom in here. You can see a little bit of budding. So it looks like this plant is still going to produce more peppers. Very impressive. And we move along here to the other hot pepper plant. As you can see, we've got the one pepper growing here, which is interesting because it had the one pepper and a little tiny one. And I picked the big one, and then this one started to grow, and at that point it started flowering some more. You can see the flowers and buds on it. So it looks like this plant is going to produce more peppers now. And this here's the Hungarian pepper plant, the one that grew that really big pepper. And you can see flowering and budding on it. So there's a good chance that there's going to be at least one more pepper from this plant this year. Sometimes when you think a plant is done, it grows more, and sometimes when you think it's going to grow more, it's done. And that's the case with the strawberry plant here. And we had some second wave, I guess, of strawberries kind of coming out of this, but it didn't make any more strawberries. So this plant looks like it's pretty much done for the year. Onions have been a great success here. Replanting some of the roots enabled even more onions to grow. You can see here, the green is growing out just from there, and that is at least one of the roots that was replanted. Whereas you can tell that a thick one like this was one that was originally there this year, or the ones with the bulbs. Some of them that are a little bit popping out of the ground here now. These were the greens off the garlic plants. The garlics are probably going to take into the winter to grow. Everything seems ready there, so those take a long time, so we'll just keep an eye on them. If I move over a little bit here, that was the lemon seed. And again, it's just a bunch of green leaves here. Okay, so this was an interesting week for the update here. There were a lot more tomatoes. I seen that my sister has picked tons and tons of them, and there's still more growing. I grabbed a bunch while I was there today too. You can see that those plants have grown tall. You can see that a lot of the tomato plants everywhere, not just the balcony, the ones in the ground too, have gone brown. And that's interesting because we've had a hot summer here, and those ones at my sister's sometimes are getting watered morning and night, 2 waterings a day. So they're getting plenty of water, and the soil's pretty good there. So the fact the leaves are turning brown could be the excessive heat. Not exactly sure, but they have produced lots of tomatoes, and the plants they're still producing, so that's a good thing. The newest thing to report was the fact that those red pepper seed plants that didn't seem to do anything anywhere, the ones in the ground, one of them, it's got little buds on it now. It's been an interesting time to grow peppers. So if that starts growing peppers and they don't grow early enough, you might have to uproot that plant and transplant it indoors to see if it can continue producing. It's interesting because I had a couple of pepper plants that did the same thing last year, did nothing all year, and then started flowering around this time. So I guess they are what they are. The saying is, it is what it is. Anyway, that's all for this week. Thanks for watching. See you next week.